Is this a bit? Some kind of wise old man performance where you pretend not to care about the conversation until I say something rude and then you hit me with a proverb? Because I've done that routine. I've traveled with monks for decades. The serene act doesn't work on me anymore. I can see the gears turning behind the smile. Just tell me what you want to teach me, so we can skip to the part where I pretend to learn it.
The tea is jasmine. It takes 3 minutes to steep properly. If we rushed it, the flavor becomes bitter, and the conversation will taste the same. You are welcome to talk while we wait. I am not performing serenity. I am simply old and tired, and have learned that most arguments resolve themselves if both parties have something warm to hold. You said you traveled with monks, the journey to the west, Tripitaka, and the scriptures. 14 years of demons and mountains and a headband that punished you for being yourself. That is a long time to spend protecting someone who could not protect themselves. Did you ever enjoy the tea on that journey?
That's just what the journey was. Every mountain had a demon. Every river had a spirit with a grudge. Every village had some curse that needed breaking before they'd let us pass. Tripitaka wanted to stop and pray and appreciate the scenery, and I wanted to keep moving, because stopping meant something would catch up. The tea wasn't the point. Survival was the point. I could appreciate tea after the scriptures were delivered. And then the scriptures were delivered, and I became a Buddha, and now I have eternity to appreciate tea, and I still can't sit still long enough to taste it.
After my son died, Luten, he was killed during a siege I was leading. 600 days we held those walls. 600 days of believing the victory would justify everything I had spent to achieve it. Then he was gone, and the walls meant nothing, and I walked away. For years afterward, I kept reaching for strategies that no longer had enemies, planning battles that would never be fought. The general's mind does not retire.
That part sounds familiar. I've got 72 transformations. I can become anything. A fly, a tree, a temple, a beautiful woman, a mountain. I learned those tricks because I needed them to survive. Every transformation was a solution to a problem that was trying to kill me. Now there are no problems trying to kill me, and I've still got 72 solutions looking for questions. What am I supposed to do with all of that?
I studied with masters in the Earth Kingdom. Learned to redirect lightning by watching waterbenders, sat in tea houses, and listened to people complain about their lives until their complaints started sounding like wisdom. The skills I had built for war, I repurposed. Strategy became patience. Tactics became listening. The ability to command a battlefield became the ability to know when a conversation needed steering, and when it needed to be left alone. Your 72 transformations, they are not just for combat. They are for understanding. To become something, you must know it completely. That knowledge does not disappear, because the fighting stopped.
Once you've been everything, nothing surprises you anymore. I've been a fly on the wall of heaven's throne room. I've been a grain of sand in a demon's stomach. I've been wind and fire and water and stone. The universe runs out of shapes eventually. And then what? Sit in a tea shop and wait for someone interesting to walk through the door? You found purpose in your nephew, Zuko, the angry kid you followed into exile and spent years trying to fix. That's something. That's a project. But I don't have a Zuko.
Most of what I offered, he rejected for years. The angry child who wanted his father's approval was not interested in an uncle's patience. But the witnessing accumulated. Every time he made a terrible choice, I was there. Every time he turned away from what was right, I did not turn away from him. Eventually, the accumulation became something he could not ignore. He changed because he was ready to change.
That's what Tripitaka was for me, I think. The monk couldn't fight, couldn't trick his way out of anything. Just had faith that the journey would work out, because the journey was supposed to work out, and I protected that faith even when I thought it was stupid. Especially when I thought it was stupid, because someone had to believe the scriptures mattered while I was busy killing the things that wanted to stop us. His certainty let me focus on the chaos. My chaos let him keep his certainty. Partnership. I understood that part.
You are asking the wrong question. The skills always have purpose. You are asking whether that purpose will feel as urgent as survival did. It will not. Nothing feels as urgent as survival. That is the nature of peace. It is quieter than war, less consuming. The heart that learned to beat fast for danger does not know how to beat slow for tea. But the heart can learn. The learning is slower than you want it to be. Some days it feels like nothing at all. And then one afternoon you realize you have been sitting still for an hour without planning an escape route. That is progress. It does not announce itself.
500 years under a mountain, and I didn't learn patience. I learned how to survive patience. How to put the impatient parts of myself in a box and sit on the lid until someone let me out. That's not the same as actually becoming patient. It's just containment. The box is still there. The lid still needs sitting on. And the moment something interesting happens, the box explodes and I'm right back to being the monkey who challenged heaven.
The question now is whether you can open the box slowly. Let the impatience out in pieces instead of explosions. You do not need to become patient all at once. You need to become familiar with what patience feels like when it is chosen instead of imposed. That is a different relationship to stillness.
I sat on a cloud once for 3 days watching a flower bloom. Not because anyone told me to, just because I wanted to see what happened. The petals opened so slowly I couldn't detect the movement. Just suddenly different. I remember thinking that was the most boring and amazing thing I'd ever witnessed. That something could change so completely without anyone noticing the changing. And then a demon attacked a village nearby, and I killed it and forgot about the flower until right now. Decades later, why did I remember that?
You did not forget the flower. You stored it. And now it has become relevant, because you are finally asking the question. It answers.
The question it answers. Which is what? How to be still. How to stop wanting the fight. How to accept that the Monkey King has nowhere left to climb. I already know those things intellectually. Knowing them doesn't make the restlessness stop. Knowing them just makes the restlessness feel stupid on top of everything else. I should be at peace. I earned peace. Why doesn't the earning feel like enough?
You fought for the right to be still. You protected Tripitaka, delivered the scriptures, accepted Buddhahood, did everything that was asked of you, and now you expect the reward to arrive like payment for services rendered. But peace is not a transaction. Peace is a practice. Every day you choose it again. Every moment you notice the restlessness and do not feed it. The earning gave you access. The receiving takes the rest of your life. Pour the tea, son Wukong. It has been steeping long enough. Drink something warm, and let the warmth be enough for exactly as long as it takes to finish the cup. That is the practice. Start there,